America's founders established four well-known boxes by which we can preserve liberty and resist tyranny. They are the soapbox, the ballot box, the jury box, and the cartridge box. The soapbox is that we have the freedom to speak against the unjust or immoral actions of our government. The ballot box provides opportunity to remove unjust rulers through the vote. The jury box provides citizens not only the right to judge the facts in a case, but to judge the law itself. The jury can determine whether a law is being misapplied or can find a law unjust or immoral altogether. The jury can acquit on either basis, regardless of what the judge or jury instructions say. The cartridge box refers to an armed citizenry. America's founders knew that an armed citizenry not only helped repel an invading foreign force, but also acts as a check against tyranny from our own government. But a lesser-known tool, which the founders themselves employed, is the doctrine of the Lesser Magistrates. The doctrine of the Lesser Magistrates provides the best means to rein in a higher authority that has abused its authority and spurned its limitations. The doctrine of the Lesser Magistrates is rooted in Scripture and found throughout the history of mankind. The doctrine offers great hope to a nation of people who groan under the yoke of tyrannical behavior by the state. The Lesser Magistrate Doctrine declares that when the superior or higher-ranking civil authority makes unjust or immoral laws, policies, or court opinions, the lower or lesser-ranking civil authority has both the God-given right and duty to interpose and refuse obedience to that superior authority. If necessary, the lesser authorities may even actively resist the higher authority. A memorable quote which concisely summarizes the doctrine was actually made by a higher magistrate. Roman Emperor Trajan once said when honoring a subordinate with a sword, "Use this sword against my enemies if I give righteous commands, but if I give unrighteous commands, use it against me." In 39 AD, Publius Petronius, who was the Roman governor of Syria and Palestine, received an order from his superior, Roman Emperor Caligula. Caligula, who was convinced of his own divinity, ordered Petronius to assemble half his army and install an image of himself in the Jewish temple at Jerusalem. Petronius had the statue of the emperor made in Sidon and prepared his troops while he wintered in Ptolemy. To the Jews, a statue of the emperor in the temple was a severe affront to their religion. The Jews therefore sent numerous delegations during this time to remonstrate before the governor concerning this order from the emperor. Petronius was so deeply moved by the reasoning of their protests that he wrote to Caligula that he would not enforce his order and entreated the emperor to annul it. He had decided to interpose on behalf of the Jews. When Emperor Caligula received the letter from Governor Petronius, he was outraged and sent word by ship ordering Petronius to commit suicide. 2 weeks later, however, Caligula was assassinated by his Praetorian guards. And fortunately for Governor Petronius, the ship carrying the order for him to commit suicide arrived after the ship carrying the news of the emperor's assassination. The statue never was placed in the temple. This is an historical example of the doctrine of the Lesser Magistrates. And this is not just some archaic doctrine to study, but one which is needed in our day. For example, during the COVID pre-pandemic, there were over 500 acts of interposition by lesser civil authorities. Right now in Illinois, over 90 sheriffs are standing in interposition against the governor and state legislature, which passed a law which infringes upon the Second Amendment rights of those in their counties. And more interposition is needed. The preborn have long been waiting to see interposition of lesser magistrates on their behalf. To learn more about the doctrine of lesser magistrates, go to defytyrants.com. Now that you know what the doctrine of the Lesser Magistrates is, let us give you a call to action. Understand that America is languishing under the blithe compliance of the lesser magistrates' failure to act in interposition against the lawlessness of the superior authorities. Understand that a tyrant's superior authority always counts on the blithe compliance of the lesser authorities in order to get their evil down in the fabric of society. We encourage you to inform your family, your pastor, your elected officials about the doctrine of the lesser magistrate, and we encourage you to obtain the book, The Doctrine of the Lesser Magistrates,